So Superwoman Syndrome. I think this is a common thing that women have felt for years. And I think we're slowly moving in the right direction, right? Where women are gaining their sanity back. Hello, Kat.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
You're wearing your Mind Your Motherhood t-shirt.
I sure am. I love this shirt.
Whenever I wear it, people ask where they can get it. You can order it on my website. I partner with Bonfire. So if you just go to KristinaKuzmich.com, or even if you just Google Kristina Kuzmich merch, the Mind Your Motherhood shirt will come up.
I also have a sweatshirt and it's super comfy.
Yeah. This was not supposed to be an ad, by the way, for my shirts. I just saw you were wearing it. It reminds me of tour.
I know. I got this when we were on tour.
Yeah, we created it for the first tour. I'm thinking of going on another tour.
Woo!
I'm thinking about it. I haven't made a decision. I have a meeting with my agent I don't know when this will air, but I have a meeting with my agent coming up to discuss a 2027 tour. And the topic would be cougar puberty. So I don't know. If you're interested in that, stay tuned to my social media. I'll let you know if I go on
exciting.
tour. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today.
I get to go on tour with you? That's
Do you want to?
Yes.
I love when you travel
so much
with
fun.
me. We have the best stories about traveling.
So much fun.
Especially, well, we don't have to talk about it right now.
Okay, I know. We're up top.
But you know what I'm talking about. When you're breastfeeding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. With Brent.
Should I share this story? I don't think I've ever shared this story. Okay, today's topic is Superwoman Syndrome, but hold on. We always get distracted. It's my fault. So my first tour ever in 2019, the Hope and Humor Tour. Mm-hmm. If you were in Denver, this is what was happening behind scenes. So Denver was the second show we did. Mm-hmm. And you had Finn, your
and he
child.
Was with us, wasn't he?
I think we traveled with him.
I think we did.
And you were breastfeeding at the time.
Yes.
And I had a tour manager, Brent, who has since become a good friend. And then we had Matt and we had Ethan. Mm-hmm. So we had basically two producers and a tour manager traveling with us. And I had just met these guys, I wrote the show without them and then met them very briefly before the tour. Mm-hmm. I think I met Brent a day before tour. I don't remember.
Wow.
Anyway, we barely knew these three guys.
Single guys.
Yes. And we felt like we needed to initiate them into our weirdness because I have this thing where I don't like being around people who are too normal. I need people to be a little weird or I'm uncomfortable. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm going to be traveling the country with these people. I don't know how many cities we'll be. It was a long tour. I'm like, I need to make sure if I'm spending all this time, these people in vans and buses and airplanes and hotels, I need to make sure they're weird. So I said, the way you guys get initiated into the Kristina Club is Kat will pump some breast milk and she will dispense it among 3 glasses and you guys will have to do a shot. And they weirdly were all in.
Yeah.
So you pumped.
Yes.
I think you may have even done it during the show. We were all busy, but all of a sudden you showed up.
There was
like
some
magic.
Glasses.
All
it
of a sudden,
like a little...
yes. And we have it on video. And they all did a shot of your breast milk. People are now done with this podcast. They're like, this is disgusting. I'm never listening again. I hate Kristina's weirdness. But I was very impressed that all 3 guys did it.
Yeah, they did it. They did good.
And they still talk about it. Yeah. Anyway, that's not what this episode's about.
No, not at all.
No one's going to want to tour with my way. I'm going to be needing to hire a producer or something for the next tour. And people are like, nope. No, I don't want to drink any breast milk. Guys, good news. Kat is done breastfeeding. There will be no breast milk served. So Superwoman Syndrome.
Yeah.
I think this is a common thing that women have felt for years. And I think we're slowly moving in the right direction, right? Where women are gaining their sanity back. I think it happens to everybody, but I think once you become a mother, it's much worse. And basically what Superwoman, feeling the need to be a superwoman or feeling that pressure means is neglecting yourself in order to take care of everybody else. That's what it is. So I asked my followers, have you ever felt the pressure to be Superwoman? And how did that show up in your life? How does it manifest in your everyday life? So you'll read some answers that people sent in. But I, in my second book, I Can Fix This, wrote about this and I made a video about it and we may have talked about it. I feel like maybe on the podcast before about the whole idea of selfless, how, I grew up with my grandmother, my mother too, but especially my grandmother, just being praised for being selfless. Oh, she's so selfless. She takes care of everybody. She cooks for everybody. She cleans everything. My grandfather was a pastor of a church. So she was a pastor's wife. And every Sunday after church, she would have somebody over from the church for lunch. She would start prepping the lunch before they even went to church. Then she'd go to church, and then she'd come back from church. She would finish the lunch. She would serve everybody. She would barely sit down because she kept getting up to make sure, oh, do you need salt? Do you need this? Do you need that? Do you need that? Serving everybody. And then lunch was done, and my grandpa went and took his nap, and the guests left, and my grandma was in the kitchen cleaning everything and washing everything. And nobody ever said, wow, that's a lot. Like, do you need help? Do you need a break? Do you need... What people said, and this is me as a little child, like 3-4 years old hearing this, wow, you're so selfless. You're so selfless. You're so amazing. You're so selfless. So from a young age, I'm brainwashed to believe, oh, serving, taking care of everybody else, cooking, cleaning, not for a second thinking about me, not for a second taking a break, a nap. My grandpa's napping, right? Mm. That is what it means to be a good woman. Mm-hmm. And so what I wrote in my second book is that I decided that being selfless should not be a compliment. Mm. I don't like, I think especially for women, especially for mothers, it is a quote unquote compliment that becomes dangerous. Because if we're striving to be selfless at all times, we are not going to be healthy. And our health and our sanity and our joy matters. And if you look up the definition of selfless in a dictionary, it means having more concern for the needs and wishes of others than one's own, or having no concern for self. Mm. And I don't believe that that's healthy, obviously. But other than just not being healthy for mental health, I don't believe that that's a good example for our children.
Right.
And so we are socialized. Even if you didn't grow up with a grandma who was doing that and you heard that all the time, women are socialized from a young age to serve, do, and not go, whoa, what about me?
And I do think there was a time when the gender roles were really specific.
Yeah.
And a woman's had a role. Yeah. And the man had a role too. And neither should the two mix, right?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work anymore.
And honestly, and if we're gonna be honest, it never worked.
Right. Never.
It worked at a woman's expense. That's what I believe.
Absolutely.
Because I get that men would go out and they would do hard labor, and I that's amazing. Like, I don't put any of that down. They're very, especially in that day and age, hard work. But when they got home, for a lot, not for all marriages, but for a lot of marriages, they got home from work and that ended. The woman's job never ended. Men at that time were not getting up in the middle of the night when the baby was crying. The woman got up. And that's where you can't really compare. Like, well, for example, there are still parents that choose to be stay-at-home parents. Let's say it's a stay-at-home mother. There's stay-at-home fathers too. Let's say it's a stay-at-home mother. Her job never ends. Her job never ends, ever. So if a man is working outside the home and his wife is working inside the home, because it is work to be a stay-at-home parent.
Yes.
I've always said I hate the term stay at home because you're not staying, you're running like crazy, exhausting yourself. Staying sounds so passive. When your job ends, you better start taking over. Like, you better, now it's 50-50 with your wife. You come home from work.
Right.
The dishes are in the
both
sink.
Been working all day. So now it's time to get together and finish everything so you can both go to bed at a decent hour.
Exactly. When I was breastfeeding our youngest, my husband couldn't breastfeed. Eventually I started pumping so he could do some feedings, but I wanted to breastfeed. It was a choice. And so I would breastfeed. And then the minute I was done breastfeeding, he's like, done. You're in bed now. Go sleep. And he would take the baby into the other room to change the diaper, to burp the baby, to do the whole thing, to put him down. Like, this stuff matters. Those are little things. So I cannot tell you how many times I've heard men who, in good intentions, go, I wish I could help during the night, but she's breastfeeding. I can't really do much and she doesn't want to pump. So I can't do it. Yes, you can. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can. She's going to get an extra hour of sleep if you're burping and changing the diaper and, putting the baby back to sleep.
And the hardest part is single parents. Think about a single parent and you're doing everything and you feel like you have to keep up with everybody, but you're working full time. Yeah. And you've got kids and you've got to get up in the middle of the night. It's impossible.
When I am asked questions about that time when I was a single mom, and by the way, I didn't have a baby. I got divorced when my kids were 1.5 and 3. So still young, still waking up in the middle of the night, having nightmares, or, my son took a while to be potty trained. So he would pee himself in the middle of the night and we'd have to do the whole, change the sheets in the middle of the night, all that stuff. But when I get asked about that time, so often I'm repeating the same 5 stories because I don't remember. I was living in such stress that my mind like blocked it. I think a lot of people can relate. I was such exhaustion. I actually don't remember a lot of those months. I have no memory because it's so hard.
Yeah. And you know why it is that we have this supermom syndrome? A lot of times I think it's because we care. And we love our kids so much, and we want to give them everything, and we want them to have the exact same thing that the neighbor has, and we want them to have everything. And I think there's a degree of it that's like, we want to be better than, we want to give them the best life they can have, maybe even the better life than I had, or the same life I had, whatever it is.
But the problem there is that was defined for us as serving, nothing about us, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what if we could redefine what it means to give our kids a wonderful life, and that loving your kids so much means that you take care of the mother yourself. Of course. Like, we need to redefine what that means, right? Because you're right. There's a way we think of what being a good mother and really caring about your kid is just doing all this stuff for them and taking care of them and making sure all their needs are met. What if we redefine and went, the number one thing that makes you a really good mom for your kids is if you take care of yourself?
Yes. That would be great.
Well, that's the goal.
I think we should do that.
It's going to take a while to get there. Yeah. That's my goal.
Yes.
Because and you know this, you've worked with me for years. Mm-hmm. You know, my number one passion, and what breaks my heart, is how much mothers suffer because of the guilt they put on themselves, because of the pressure they put on themselves.
I think guilt, that's the thing. We have to get rid of that.
Yes. Yes.
Because the thing is that there's not enough time in the day for me to do what I want to do for my kids. Yeah. There's just not enough time in the day. And some days I'm going to have time to do all those extra things that I want to do, help them with baseball in the backyard, and sit down and do their homework with them. And then and make them a meal from scratch. Yeah. Some days I'll be able to do that. There's a lot of days I won't be able to do that. And so that is truly it. Yeah. You have to be like, no guilt.
No guilt. I remember someone years ago saying to me, oh my gosh, you are Superwoman. like you have 3 kids and you're doing all this stuff. And, I think I was in the middle of doing something creative for my kids. And then you have a job and blah, blah, blah. And I looked at them. I was so annoyed with that term. And I said, I want to be average woman. I don't want to be Superwoman. Can you call me mediocre woman? I want to be mediocre because I don't like the pressure being Superwoman. Right. Yes, I'm doing this creative thing for my kid because it brings me joy. I'm not going to do, we've talked about this in the previous episode. I'm not going to do Elf on the Shelf, for example. A lot of parents are, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to. You can't make me, I'm not doing it. No. Right. So I want to be.
And there is no guilt about not doing Elf on the Shelf.
I have no guilt. Definitely not. I have no guilt about a lot of stuff. I've shed, I am very close to being guilt-free. It creeps up, but I feel like I've done so much work trying to help other women not feel guilty that I've done a pretty good job. I think I'm going to struggle forever. We're all going to struggle. But man, like it used to be a daily thing. It's very rare I feel guilt now. But what if we didn't aim to be Superwoman? What if we're like mediocre woman's great? I don't want to be a terrible woman. I don't want to be an awful. No. I just want to be mediocre. Yeah. I want to be average. Like, I'm not trying to be the valedictorian of parenting. There's no such thing. Like, I'm fine just like graduating barely, like I don't need to get into Harvard. Okay. So maybe just accepting that it's good enough. Like that's basically what it is. Like, can we be good enough? You might hear barking or whining in the background. That is my puppy, Punky Brewster.
Cutie pie.
I want to share a video I saw. Oh no, that's her toy. That means my husband's playing with Punky Brewster.
Oh, that's
you hear the squeaky
nice.
Toy?
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't even know if you guys can hear this, but I'm obsessed with my dog. By the way. You can follow
She's
her
adorable.
on Instagram, Punky Brewster, the dog.
She's so cute.
Yeah, please follow her account. I'm ready to quit my own account and just
go
be
for her. You
dog
should. Yeah.
momager, whatever you would call that. Anyway, I saw a video on Instagram and I thought it was just fascinating. And I'm going to be really mad at myself if you know what? I'm going to take the time to look up who this person is. Why don't you talk about being a Superwoman while I do this so that we don't waste time?
Some days. I never liked it when people called me a Superwoman either. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm barely making it.
Yeah.
It's almost offensive that you said that because I am
don't you
sucking
feel like it
today.
Puts pressure?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think that's the problem.
I think that might be it. Why I didn't like it.
Yes. Because then it's like, well, wait till you see me on Tuesday.
Right,
like
exactly.
You caught me on a good day.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I found her. So this woman, it's not even her full name. Oh, Teresa Lucia Cornejo. She shared a story, how she went on a date with a guy. And the guy was talking about how amazing his mother is. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he was like, my mom cooked for us and did all this stuff. And she made sure we have everything we need. And if we woke up in the middle of the night, it wasn't even my dad that ever got up. She got up if we had a bad dream or something. She just, he was just listing all these wonderful things she did. And then, she noticed as he was talking that he is only describing his mother as like the things she did for him or the things she did for the kids. And then she said, oh, well, what does your mom like to do for fun? And he went, this is, by the way, a grown man. This is not a kid. This is a grown man on a date. He goes, I don't know. I don't know what she likes. Well, what hobbies does she have? Like, what does she enjoy? I don't know. Okay. Well, what's her favorite color? I don't know. Who knows their mother's favorite color? And she's like, I know my mother's favorite color. And what she realized is that in his eyes, his mother was this amazing being, but it was all based on her being a servant.
Yes, to him.
And he didn't even know anything else about his mother. He didn't appreciate that she, was creative and had a really cool hobby or anything about other things about her personality other than like, I'm a servant. And it was just such an interesting thing. And then I read through the comments, and I want to actually read some of the comments because I thought they were fascinating. Ask a man to describe a good woman and watch him describe a servant. Now, I don't think that's true for all men.
No,
like I think if somebody asked,
but
I hope that if somebody asked my sons or daughter that they would know, I know they know my favorite color and they know what I like to do for fun. But that interesting perspective. Somebody else said they probably bought her vacuums and cleaning supplies for Christmas. Right. Somebody wrote, and this is powerful, his mom is his favorite maid in the world, not his favorite woman in the world.
And we're all it could be a daughter who would say the same thing. Let's be totally frank. It's all about us.
Yes. So it's something interesting to think about. Like maybe this is a good thing to ask for people to ask on a date to see, like,
that's great,
especially if it's a man, how he looks at women. Like, can you describe something about your woman that doesn't include her serving you? Right? Tell me something about your mom that does not involve service to her family. Could most kids do that? Think about even when our kids write down, like, they do those Mother's Day things or whatever. They're like, my mom's favorite thing is, and they'll be like, cooking for the family. I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, that's not her favorite thing. That's not her favorite.
I think my kids, though, when they write that down, they say napping, which is true.
You are raising healthy children. You know what's going to happen? Your young boys are going to be like, my wife doesn't nap enough.
Yeah.
I got to encourage my wife to nap more.
I hope so.
No, your sons are going to be such good husbands because they see you napping. Yes. No, I'm serious. So that's that whole Superwoman Syndrome, right? And I'm glad that this guy like praises his mom and feels that he had a good childhood and all that. But how sad that he literally described a maid. He knows nothing else about his mom. He just knows what he got from her being exhausted, right? And working her butt off for him. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, that makes me really sad.
Yeah.
And then the fact that he was like, who knows their mother's favorite color?
Right.
What?
No, what?
Like, wait, she's a real being? She's not just my what? She has hobby? What? Like,
what do you buy her for Mother's Day? I guess you're right.
Well, like
cleaning
they said,
supplies.
vacuum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let's read something. So when I asked my audience, I want to see what the people said. Do they feel pressure to be a superwoman, and how does that show up in their life?
Okay, these are some of the comments. Tammy said, I don't feel pressured to be Superwoman, but it makes me feel uncomfortable when people call me that.
Okay, that's what we were talking about.
Which we were just saying. How do you do it? She's like, badly. I do it badly.
Okay, that's very relatable. I think that's what I'm going to start answering. Because when people ask me, how do you do it all? My response is always like, I don't do it all.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in my life that I've accomplished solo. I had to have support.
Right.
And by the way, that doesn't, asking for help, needing help does not make you weak or inadequate. It makes you human and actually makes you a better human. Like I have so much respect for people who delegate. I have so much respect when I hear a woman say, I'm throwing my kid a birthday party. So I told my friend that my friend asked if she could help. I said, yes, bring this. You do this. Yeah. Can you do this? Instead of that woman who's like, nobody has to do it. No, I got it. Nobody needs to help me. I got it.
Right.
Delegate the crap out of everything. Everything.
I also do, I like that she said at the end, she said, but some things are just simply worth doing. So there are things, even if you're maybe doing it badly, maybe it is worth doing. Like, okay, I only have time to read you one book, but I'm going to read you one book.
Yeah, or half a book.
Or skip
pages.
Half a book.
I've skipped pages.
Sure.
If you haven't skipped pages, you're not a real mother.
Yeah, that's so true. Until they learn to read, then you got a problem.
Then you're screwed. Don't teach your kids to read, guys.
No, it's definitely no.
But I love her answer of I do it badly. I think instead of saying I don't do it all, I'm going to start saying I do it badly. And if it's not bad, it's because I have a lot of support.
Right. Tabitha said, as a working mom and wife, I feel pressure every single day. But I'm constantly remembering that it's only for a little while. And if my house is a mess and nachos are for dinner, I made it through the end of the day.
Yes.
And are our kids going to remember they're going to love that they had nachos, honestly, as opposed to like a home cooked meal.
Do you remember the video we did? It was one of my favorite videos.
Yes.
Finn, your son, was very little. Ari was, Finn was like 2. I don't think
he was little.
He could barely talk because he had like a word here and there that he would say. And Ari was maybe 5. And they're sitting at a table drawing or playing. And then we're at a different table. And it goes from me saying to you, I was the worst mom today. I, was going to plan this great meal, this big meal, and I didn't have time. So I just literally made nachos, but they weren't even real nachos. Like I just put chips and just melted some cheese on top. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to Ari, my son, talking to Finn, your son. He's like, my mommy's the best mommy ever. She made this big pile of nachos. And then, I'm like, oh, and another thing I did today, I was planning on taking him to this fun park, amusement park, whatever. And I found out that, it was what's a bounce house, whatever the thing is. What's that called?
Bounce houses.
Yeah. And
trampoline park.
Yeah. And it was closed and I didn't look at the times and we didn't get to go. And I was so bummed. I'm just such a bad mom. I can't even believe it. And then it cuts to Ari going, my mom pulled the mattresses off the beds and we got to jump and it was so fun. And I made it to show the perspective of we think we have to, again, be superwomen in order for our children to have a magical childhood, which by the way, can we just remove the magical part of that? Nobody needs a magical childhood. They need a healthy, safe, happy childhood. It doesn't have to be magical. It doesn't have to be over the top. It doesn't have to be expensive. But to show that kids do see it in a different way. And I can't remember if I wrote about this in my first book or not, but when I was a single mom, my kids' friends often went, I think I've shared this on the podcast maybe before. My kids told me how their friends were like going to Disneyland and going to this amusement park, and I just couldn't afford any of it. And so I would take them on a picnic in a park, and I always tried to do something fun. So I would make a peanut butter jelly sandwich, and I would cut it in weird shapes, and then to make it look like a puzzle, and they had to put the puzzle piece together. And so, feeling bad about this for years, like, oh, I didn't give them this magical childhood their friends had. And then years later, my kids are like, Mom, oh my gosh, do you remember when we were like 4 or 5 and you used to take us to a park and we had to like put the puzzle together with the thing, and then we used to like have dance parties in the park, like you didn't even care there were people around, we just had our own private dance party and it was so fun. And I'm looking at them and they're like, it's this beautiful memory for them. We don't even realize that the things that we beat ourselves up over are more than good enough for our children, because really what they need is love, which I'm assuming everybody listening to this podcast is already giving their children. They need safety. They need a home where they feel like they can be themselves and be emotionally safe and physically safe. And like we make it too complicated. And a lot of it comes from the outside pressure.
I think that's true. I think we have to ditch the outside pressure because kids have a lot of needs just on their own. Like they have to be fed.
Yes.
3 times a day.
Even on holidays.
Even on
Mother's Day, they want to eat. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And especially little kids, like that's kind of where when my kids were little, especially, and I would hear people being like, yeah, you should allow yourself to take a nap or whatever. I'd be like a little annoyed because I'd be like, I don't freaking have time to take a nap. I mean, I've got poop and diapers and sick throwing up and, and food they have to eat. Yeah. So, there's a lot. They require a lot.
Yeah. And I think for those times, because we do tell parents a lot, like, take time for yourself. And then parents are like, when, how? I think it's a matter of deciding like what actually matters. Because if you're going to be honest, there are things that can wait, or there are things that don't have to be done, and even if it's a 5-minute thing, go do something for yourself. One thing that I encourage parents to do, it's hard in those busy days to even think of what will bring you joy. when you do have literally pockets of time that are 5 minutes. So what I've encouraged people to do is have a list in your phone, like in your notes section or somewhere. Have a list in your phone of things that bring you joy. Like, man, dancing my butt off, like no one's watching to this one song, always just like puts me in a badass mood. Write that down. And then when you have 2 minutes and you're like, oh my God, my kid is actually, napping or something's happening. I have 2 minutes. What is going to just like make me feel human again? What is going to make me feel alive? It might be something, whatever it is. It might be like, oh, when I talk to this one friend, great, make that phone call. If your kid needs to watch 20 minutes extra of television, who the heck cares? Or if it's sleeping, fine, let your kid watch an extra movie or something and take that nap, whatever it is, but have a list.
That's literally what I would do a lot is be like, okay, I'm going to let you watch your show for 30 minutes because I need to take a nap or whatever it is. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Not only is it not wrong with it, not only is there nothing wrong with it, it's not just healthy for you. What a lot of times parents forget, when we're healthy, our kids are healthier. Kids need a healthy parent. We show up better.
Yes.
Because we can, even if we're exhausted and stressed out, we can fake the smiles and go, no, my kid doesn't know. My kid, that fake smile. My kid doesn't know I'm struggling. My kid doesn't know I'm unhappy. My kid's, yes, they do. I sense, I'm not special. We all sense other people's energy. When someone has a fake smile on their face and they are freaking struggling, you know it. You can feel it.
And when you're at your wit's end, you're going to say things you don't need to say. You're going to snap. You're, going to be cranky.
Yeah. So I would say have a list. Whenever something brings you joy, just keep adding to the list and just go to that. And then also never feel guilty for that extra, TV time or whatever for you to prioritize your sanity. Okay, give me another one.
Okay, we did sort of say this, but Holly said, I think the most important thing is just to ask for help. Don't do it all yourself. Ask your partner and family to help out. Work together and find a balance. And learning to ask for help and working together as a family team is a superpower all in itself.
Okay, and I think it's very important to delegate to children.
I don't do that enough.
I've said before that all of my children were taught how to do laundry at 9 years old. They watched me do it. Every time I did laundry and they were around, I was like, okay, look, this is what we do with colors. This is what we do with whites. This is blah, blah, blah. And then at 10 years old, the older two at 10 years old started doing their own laundry. The younger one at 11, I got distracted and forgot. But
okay.
I have not done I have not done Ari's laundry since he turned 11. I have not done my older kids' laundry in over a decade because they're in their 20s. And you know what? It helps. And I don't mean just throwing it in. They are responsible for putting it in the dryer. And I get that it's like, I don't have time to teach my kids. Listen, it pays. It's an investment you make and it pays in the long run. But it's stuff like that. Ari is responsible for unloading the dishwasher in our house. He does it 90% of the time. Why should I unload the dish? This is not, and by the way, this is not a chore he gets paid for. This is because he's contributing to the family. If he wants to make money, there are extra chores he can do. But there are things we do just because we're part of the family. And I get that, like, it's annoying because you're nagging them, and they're saying they don't want, a lot of people are like, I don't want to, it's always an argument. I feel like it's worth it and you're benefiting them, right? Because they're learning to take care of things and be responsible. But my gosh, like, you should not, there's a certain age where you stop doing everything for your children. Mm-hmm. Raise them to be responsible adults who know how to take care of their stuff.
I feel like I let it go by and I don't realize, I think he is actually old enough to do that, to help me unload the dishwasher or whatever it is. You just keep, I tend to keep seeing them as little kids. Well, and I don't realize they're getting older and can do those things.
But I think also a lot of times, and I've definitely felt this too, and by the way, there's a lot of things that I said before I had kids I would teach my kids to do and the chores they'd be doing at a certain age that they didn't. But I definitely can relate to a lot of parents who are like, it's just easier if I get it done.
Totally,
it's just easier. And I get it.
And especially when you don't have a lot of time.
Yes. So that's where, if there is time, or if you can start at a younger age and slowly introduce it, then it's like, Ari doesn't really complain about unloading. He rolls his eyes sometimes because he doesn't love it, but it's not an argument back and forth because it's become such a normal part of his life, right? So I think we got to normalize it from a young age. And it's just part of, just like you get up in the morning and you brush your teeth and you go to school, like you just do it. But I do think what she said, I don't know who it was that wrote that comment about, ask for help. Okay, this is what I'd like to say to any man listening. Your wife should not be asking you for help.
Because
you're adding more work to her. She doesn't want, you're adding another, literally her to-do list now involves ask my husband for help. Like you just added another thing to her to-do list.
True.
How about the husband just helps?
That'd be great.
And a lot of them do. Yours does, mine does. There's a lot of, but if there are men listening, please don't wait for your wife to ask. If you see dishes in the sink, obviously need to be washed.
Right.
If you're, be aware of your kid's schedule. So many, oh my gosh, the amount of women I've heard from, my husband doesn't even know when the parent-teacher conference, my husband doesn't even know this project is due for school. Let's make sure that both parents know. This would not be a default mom thing where like mom's in charge of everything. Let's make it like both the parents have all the information and now they can both contribute.
I agree. But I'm maybe a control freak.
That was an angry bunch.
I know.
That was a very angry bunch.
I know all the moving parts. And if somebody's like, oh, I scheduled something, I'd be like, you can't schedule that because we can't do that. I've got other moving parts going on. So I think this is what I'm saying, is that sometimes people have their different things
dynamics.
That they do.
They have
and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Like if I want to be that way, it would annoy me if my husband was like, I made the dentist appointment for the kids on that day. I'd be like, well, you can't do it on that day,
So basically what you're saying is know thyself, know your marriage.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
yeah, it's okay if you have your lanes.
But I don't think you need to ask Will, hey, there's dishes in the sink.
Sure.
Like Will's the type of husband that will be like, oh, there's dishes in the sink.
Let's do that. Whoever can get to it first, get to it. Exactly, that's what we do.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the whole mental load thing that women struggle with because it's like, my husband's really willing to help, but I have to write the grocery list. I have to decide what we're eating for dinner every night. I have to...
And so I think communicate about that for sure.
Yes.
Because,
So then it feels like all I'm doing is just like treating my husband as the helper instead of my partner.
Sure.
And that's when it becomes... Speaking of the men thing, I think one of the reasons that there's so much pressure on women is that the bare minimum for a father is praised, and a woman has to create magic in order to be praised, right? So another video I made where I talked about how, I don't even know if it was a video or was it on my tour. I talked about how, my husband would make breakfast for the kids or something. And I'd post a picture and be like, oh, my husband cooking breakfast for the kids. And the comments were like, oh my God, does he have a brother? That's so hot. A man cooking breakfast for his children. Oh my God. Where'd you get him? Like, fascinating. Like, amazing. He's Superman. Or the guy takes his kids to the park by himself. What a great dad. He took his kids to the park. Oh my God. Like, women are swooning over this, right?
Yeah.
And then I make breakfast for my kids and it's like, you need to pull your hair back. You're going to get hair in the food. Or, oh my gosh, I don't see enough protein. Like, it's all criticism.
Right. Totally.
No one's calling me hot. No one's ever called me sexy or hot or asked if I have a single sister because I made breakfast for my kids. Or I take my kids to the park and no one's like, wow, what a great mom. She took her kids to the park. Oh my gosh, what a great mom. No, it's like any criticism they can find. And that's the problem. And that's reality. And I joked, this was on my second tour, I joked that my husband could be melting Legos in a pan and the internet would be like, oh my gosh, how creative, right? What a creative meal he's making for the kids.
It's so colorful.
Yes. Yeah. And if anybody had a problem with it, do you know what they would say? They wouldn't say, I can't believe he's melting Legos in a pan. He's a bad dad. You know what they would say? Where's the mother? Yeah. Where is she abandoned them and now this poor man has to feed his kid Legos? Where is the mother? Like, seriously.
Man has to feed his...
Like, why isn't she at home churning butter? She should be churning butter. Is that store-bought butter? That is child abuse. Where's the mother? Like,
that's so funny.
It is insane how it really is looked at differently. Like, the men do the bare to this day in 2026, men do the bare minimum. And this is not an insult to, this is not trying to say that men are not capable. I always say that as a man, I would be insulted. Mm-hmm. If I was a man, my husband has said this, so let me put it that way.
Yeah.
My husband has said, when somebody compliments me for making food for my children, or this is another one he gets a lot. When I travel for work, he gets complimented for, wow, you're at home with the kids while she travels and you're just taking care of everything. You're like driving them to school and then you got to feed them and you got to do all this. I have never gotten compliment for this if my husband's out of town.
Right.
And my husband has always said, it is an insult. I don't take that as a compliment. Like, yeah, I'm such a great dad. I'm looking at these people going, do you think I'm that incapable?
Oh, right.
You think I'm that much of a dumbass that I can't take care of my own children for a few days? Like, that's how low you think of me? That you're complimenting me for feeding my own offspring? Like, the children I helped create? So I do think that it's not just insulting to women, of like, women have to reach the standard. But let's have some more respect for what men are capable of. Like, I want my sons to grow up and know that they can be just as good of a parent as a woman can.
100%.
But society makes it seem like, oh my God, they fed the child and the child didn't die. Amazing. What a wonderful father. Let's give him the Nobel Peace Prize. Like, seriously. So no wonder women feel like they have to be superwomen.
Right. It does have to do with our upbringing too, you know?
Yes.
I mean, especially when I was, growing up, it was definitely... women made the food, women did this, men did that.
Women did everything with the children.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes, women did
the
everything
man came home and spanked them.
Yeah,
it was,
right.
Remember, that was always like, wait till your father comes home.
Yes.
Can you imagine, like,
God, I would hate my dad if that was the case.
I would hate being a man in the sense, because it's like, well, my children just know me as the guy that comes home and then whips them. Which, by the way, I don't spank my kids. I'm not a spanker. We're talking about, like, old times when that's what happened. But
that would have sucked. Like, a dad, you see your dad for like an hour a day
and they're spanking you.
Yeah. Oh, God,
or lecturing you. Which, by the way, also, what is that all about? Wait till your father comes home. Like, I am not intelligent enough to handle a 5-year-old. I'm going to wait till my smart man comes home and Lord. He will deal with this.
I think it's more like he's got to,
He's stronger?
He's stronger. He's going to...
Oh, great. He's going to abuse you even harder.
Yes, exactly. It's terrible.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway, I'm glad things are changing.
Yeah,
but they're changing a little too slow for me.
And it has to... We got to be talking to our kids about, about these things. And to our boys.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. So basically, if you have one or two more that you find that you're like, I need to read this one, tell me, because we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
But I think we need to, like we said, get rid of the guilt. I think that's one of the number one things. We have to, as women, mothers, wives, and again, I think we're all getting better at it. I think the next generation, our daughter's generation, is going to be so good at it.
Yeah, they are.
Saying no and not doing the, no, I'm so sorry, I can't, because no is a full sentence. When you get asked to volunteer at the school for the 5th time, or when you ask, and all that stuff is lovely. And I think we should all take at least one thing in our, year to contribute to, volunteer, whatever, but you can't do it all. So pick one.
Yeah.
And then learn to say no and not add all the explanations and feel, no, it's just no. Thank you so much for thinking of me. But no, I'm not going to do it. There's such a freedom in that, in which this is, married to. Stop being a people pleaser. Stop being a people pleaser. Like, you are people please yourself. That's what I said. I was like, I'm not going to stop being a people pleaser. I don't think I can stop being a people pleaser. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop people pleasing everybody else, and I'm going to start people pleasing me.
Yes.
I am going to people please me. I am people. So I people please me now. And when I am at my wit's end and I cannot contribute one more thing and I cannot serve one more person, I just go, wait, I'm going to people please me, which means I'm going to say, what do I need? Am I okay? Do I have everything what I need? What feels good to me? What will bring me joy? And if people think that's selfish, well, think it's selfish. I don't think it's selfish.
Because you're not pleasing them.
I think I'm not trying to impress you. I'm trying to impress myself. And I'm trying to be the healthiest person I can for my children. Okay, you want to read anything else?
There's one more. Ekaterina said, I gave up that need some time ago, and I'm so proud of myself.
I'm so proud of you. We're both so proud of you.
Yes.
Because it is a hard thing to do. You're basically, it's like leaving a cult. For us women and mothers, especially who grew up with mothers and grandmothers who served. Oh, she's so selfless, right? For us to give up that need to serve and people please and make sure everybody else has what they need and be Superwoman, it is like leaving a cult. It's going to require deep programming. It's going to require a lot of work. And even with all the work I've done, and I'm pretty good at saying, because you tried to suck me into a lot of volunteering.
Before,
you tried.
When I was PTA president.
She was a PTA president. She tried to suck me into a lot of stuff. I said yes to one thing,
And you did.
And I did that one thing well. And I was like, Kat, I'm going to be honest with you. I love you. You're my friend.
Yeah.
Don't ask again. Don't even ask. Because the answer will always be no. I love you, but I have 3 children and I'm trying to build a business and I'm going to say no to you.
Right.
So I picked this one thing and then leave me alone.
I do think that video you made about just say no, I think it was about me.
It was directed at you.
Yeah.
And so if I can do that with Kat, who tried to guilt me at the time.
Right, I was like, come on,
you can do it. It's just one day.
It's just one day.
No, I'm napping that day, Kat.
Yeah. Right.
I am my schedule is full. If you look at my schedule, it says nap.
Yeah.
Nap. I think that deprogramming that needs to happen is real. And even for someone like me who has learned to say no and is pretty good at, prioritizing myself. And if you need help with this, especially if your kid is struggling, please read my book. I Can Fix This, because I write a lot about having to still learn to take care of myself while my kid is struggling so badly that it's so easy for all of my attention to go to him. And it did for a while, and it was not healthy for him or me. What I'm trying to say is, even with how far I've come, those thoughts still creep in, because it is like leaving a cult. Mm-hmm. And you're still going to have those thoughts of like, am I doing something wrong? Mm-hmm. Am I not doing enough? Am I a bad mother? Am I, and we have to just go, no. My health matters because my children need a healthy parent. Mm-hmm. I've said this a million times. I'm sure I've said it in a million episodes. I'm going to say it again. Never feel guilty for taking the best care of the most important person in your child's life, and that's you. Never feel guilty for that. All right, we're going to wrap it up. I love you all. If you need more support, or if you'd like to listen to this podcast ad-free without ads, Hope and Humor Daily app is available to you. It's my app, and there's a lot of fun features there that just help get you through the chaos of motherhood and other stuff. All right, I love you all. Is it lunchtime? I'm starving.
Yeah, I think it is. Let's eat.
All right, bye everybody.